I hate liars. Always have, always will. And so many people lie with such ease and so transparently, it has always infuriated me. I learned, slowly, after I was finally diagnosed as autistic in my mid-20s, it's just a thing normies do. They all do it all the time. They all know they all do it all the time, and they just kind of accept that nearly everyone they meet and talk to just lies all of the time. There are all these little lies that people just accept that they're being told and accept that they will tell other people for reasons I will never fathom. It is friggin' weird, man. Now, I'm not saying the people I'm about to talk about are liars who are lying, but I am going to say I have been utterly unable, no matter how hard I tried, to corroborate their stories with actual real-life experience. So, what's all this about then? Well, it's probably in the title, isn't it? It's about AFkers, and if you're somehow so stunningly new to gaming you're unaware of the term, it's one of the oldest acronyms come slang in gaming and online life in general, really. Away from keyboard, AFK. It started as a way to tell people you're away from the keyboard for a sec, or indeed controller, once consoles slumped their way into routine online gaming and joined the modern world. AFK, making a coffee, answering the door, taking a massive grumpy on the porcelain throne, whatever. But these days it's more likely to be used by other people to describe someone else's behavior, not a self-identifier. And in online gaming it's usually a heavily derisive term when thrown at someone else in accusation. As it should be, because usually it means someone on your co-op team have stopped contributing to whatever the goal of the current mission is. They're standing somewhere safe and sound, out of danger, parasitically, passively waiting for everyone else to do the work so they can collect rewards, experience points, and progress without actually having to do any work at all. There are certain event missions in Fallout 76, for example, where I see it quite a lot, but today we're talking about The Last Descendant. It just went through its first weekend after launch. It was a bit rocky, as live service games often are for the first week at least, but people are progressing to endgame, chipping away at the quests, fiddling with their build, and smashing against the boss fights that are there as progression rules to force you to learn to refine your build, learn the mechanics better, level up your damage, your DPS, your resistances, all of that kind of stuff. The progression curve of this game is actually done really well in my opinion. I've been rather enjoying it. But within community spaces for this game, over the last few days, I have noticed a distinct uptick in the frequency at which people are whining about AFK players ruining their gameplay experience. More and more AFK players in instances, starts one frustrated Redditor. I like to play with other people, but some people are just outrageous. This is actually ruining the game. I've rarely been this mad at anything. You get the gist, pages and pages of people complaining about AFK players. And complaining like it was an epidemic, a plague, a horde. Waves and waves of parasites wrecking the game for everybody. 5 games in a row, there were 1 or 2 people AFK, says one person, and yeah, I get it. AFK players in team co-op games are pretty friggin' annoying, and for certain types of missions especially, they can make it literally impossible to complete, which is very, very frustrating, isn't it? However, what we have here, I think, is a bit of confirmation bias. You see, I wasn't noticing this much in my own gameplay, and when I saw a flood of people, complaining about this behavior, I tried to get some footage of this AFK stuff for this video, which originally was planned out with a different perspective. I was going to rail on the AFKers, I was going to name and shame them, I was going to put them in their place. I spent hours last night and this morning rolling between every different mission type in the game, every possible way there was to team up with randoms, and I didn't get one, like literally not one AFK player at any time. I did have one player kind of skip to a corner once in the middle of a defense mission, and I thought, aha, at last, I've got one, I've caught one. Time to go get the close-up, time to name and shame. Caught in 4K, AFKer, you leech, you parasite, you scumbag. But they were only still for about 45 seconds. Obviously, they had something to take care of just real quick, rather inconveniently in the middle of a mission. A phone call, doorbell, maybe they spilled their drink, whatever it was. They took care of it and came right back to the mission and contributed the rest of the time. But that was literally it. Any mission type, any level, at any stage in the game, on any map, on any boss, I tried and tried and tried again to find them, and I found nothing. Every single player I ran into was active, engaged, helpful. It was the same story if I joined a quest in progress already, or if I started one solo and had people join in while I was in progress. I literally could not get a single minute of footage of an AFK player. Now, I am absolutely sure it happens. I'm not saying people are making this up. I am sure there are AFK players out there. Of course there are. But to listen to places like Reddit, you'd think it was a seeping, pervasive, ever-present cancer in the very bones of the game, just ruining the entire thing for everybody. No, it's just not. See, the only reason it seems like it's ubiquitous is only certain people who experience it whine about it. And these people, I think, are wildly exaggerating how often they are facing it because they get so severely triggered by behavior, they imagine it's everywhere all of the time. But the player base on Steam alone, not counting the consoles, because we just don't have those numbers, but on Steam alone, it's well over 200,000 people concurrent every day. Quite a lot of people playing this game right now. Peel that away to the few dozen people from the 68,000 number strong subreddit that are actually screeching about it like it was a pandemic, and you start to see where confirmation bias seeps in. It's just not common. Demonstrably so. Like I said, I tried and I tried and I tried really hard for hours to find them, to get them on video, to get evidence of this behavior, to see how common it was. You know, statistically, I was keeping track of how many rounds I was playing and how many AFKs I was finding. Well, that was the plan anyway. I was hoping to get some sort of number out of it. 5% of players are AFK, or 10%, whatever it was. I just wanted some evidence of it. But I didn't get even one player to record. But please let me know in the down below how you are doing on the score. How many AFKs have you come across? How frequent? And please don't lie about it. Please just be honest. Don't exaggerate. Just be frank and honest, because there's no point in lying about it. It's bizarre behavior that I do not understand. And frankly, I do not believe for a second someone would possibly run into that many AFK players, and absolutely not the supposed 5 games in a row where half the team were AFK each time. That's bullshit. I would call those people saying that kind of stuff liars without a second thought. Even in the kindest terms, exaggerating for effect and for attention perhaps. But so transparently, so easily disproven are their statements, it's embarrassing they feel the desire to lie so badly to begin with. Aren't you embarrassed to tell such an easily disproven lie? Aren't you ashamed of yourselves? I'm not defending AFK behavior. Like I said, I'm sure it happens in this game. And like I said a couple of minutes back, I see it pretty frequently in certain missions in Fallout 76, but in those cases, they're not actually preventing anyone from actually doing anything. They're just kind of leeching in corners, everything. There's enough people doing the events that we could have done anyway. Slightly annoying seeing these parasites just twirling around in a corner of a house somewhere, but, whatever. It's a lot more severe when it happens in games like this, and I'm not defending any of it, but I just don't get the liars lying about this, pretending it's infested the entire game all of the time, and just all the missions are ruined, they can't get anything done because there's AFKs everywhere. It's just not true. I don't get these liars. I never will. Frauds and cowards. Anyway, thank you for listening to me have my say. I did go into this video thinking I was just going to make fun of AFKers and just have a bit of fun at their expense, but it turned into something completely different when I tried to get some evidence. Anyway, I am Blanty. I'll catch you next time. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling away up above there.